Hello everyone, and welcome to this first demonstration of the Introduction to Music Production course module. You know, one of my favorite things about this coursework is that it is designed to get you up and running in the studio, hands on the equipment, doing things, making music, having fun, being creative, all on the first day. But regardless of your skill level, we're going to have to spend a little bit of time on fundamentals. That's why this first demonstration is going to dive into the digital audio workstation Reason 7 and show you some of the basic navigation tools that you'll need to use just to be more efficient in your productions, and also some of the basic recording fundamentals that are going to help you along the way. Let's get started. The very first step we need to take is to actually start up our digital audio workstation. So if you go to the bottom of your screen to your dock, and find the Reason logo and start up the program. You'll notice that right away Reason opens up a brand new blank session for you to start working with. However, this is not an option that you have to go with. There are also mini templates that you can start with here that will get you started on whatever project you might have going on by having a session that already contains tracks, instruments, effects, and so on. You can also, from this window, open a previous session that you've already begun working on and just browse for that file until you find the session that you want. Now, every time I start up a session, I always save immediately, just so I keep the original session that I had, and then any sort of edits that I might make. And I'll keep these organized in places that I know I can find them. Here in the Reason interface, the most basic thing that we need to go over are the transport controls found here. These are your basic rewind, fast forward, stop, play, and record functions. So let's go ahead and just listen to the little song that we've got going on. Okay, pretty cool. To the left of the transport controls, you'll notice that we have options to change our time signature or our tempo for our song. So if, for example, what we just played was maybe a little too slow for me, I could bump up the beats per minute here and listen for some changes. Much better. In the upper right corner of the sequencer window, we have a toolbar with all the different tools that you can select from to help you with editing and for arranging your productions. Starting with the most basic, the arrow tool allows you to select clips and move them. The pencil tool allows me to draw in new clips. The eraser tool, like you might think, allows you to delete entire clips. The eraser tool allows you to cut clips and then move individual sections. The mute tool will actually just mute an entire clip in case you want to see how something fits into an arrangement, whether or not it belongs in a certain section, and it will be marked by being grayed out like this. You also have a magnifying tool in case you like to see the clips in a little bit larger of a fashion. And the grabber tool allows me to physically grab and drag through my sequencer window and throughout my productions. You'll also want to take notice of the various markers or cursors located here in our sequencer window. This one here marks the current location where we would start or play back our audio. So if I wanted to jump ahead in my song, I could simply move that cursor forward. Then we have loop markers, denoted by the left and right. Now what that's going to do is enable me to loop playback between these markers, just so long as this loop button is enabled. So if I were to play from this location, I'd play until we got to the right loop marker, and we go back to the beginning. like so. With the loop function disabled, it will be quite different. And the final marker that you'll notice is the E or end marker. In cases where we're working on larger songs or productions instead of just a loop project, we would put this towards the end of the song and it would mark the final placement of any exported audio. Here in the sequencer window, we also have a few more options that help us navigate, and those are some zoom functions. You'll find those here, where you can zero in on parts of your songs. And you can also expand this timeline area in the same fashion, like this, and then navigate through your session using that timeline. In addition to the sequencer window that you're looking at here, where you can see all the clip events and performances, there are two other windows that you'll be using frequently inside Reason. You can access the instrument or rack window by dragging down from here, and this is where you're actually going to see the physical instruments that are making the performances. And then the same way, we have a mix window up here, which is going to emulate a mixing console in a recording studio. Back to the sequencer window. When I feel like I've gotten to a place where my arrangement or my production needs more sounds and more instruments, I can simply just go up to the tool menu and create a new instrument. In this case, I created a MIDI synthesizer called the Subtractor, but out of good practice, I'm going to go ahead and name this what kind of instrument I want it to be, which is more specifically a lead synth. Now, in order to browse through the different sounds available to me in Reason, I'm going to go to the instrument or the rack window and select the instrument. Then I can open up the folder here and just browse all the different patches or presets that are available for this particular instrument. As you can see, they're categorized into these different categories. And just by highlighting, I can then perform on my MIDI keyboard just to see what these sound like. There we go. Now, in just the same way, if I wanted to record vocals or some acoustic instruments or anything that would require the use of a microphone, I would create an audio track. And then I would just have to select my input to match the appropriate input on the audio interface here. Back to our lead synth, if I want to record something, I'm going to go ahead and look at these options here. The click is actually going to be a metronome that keeps the beat for us if it's enabled, and a pre is going to be essentially a count off. So let's go ahead and record a new performance on this lead synth instrument utilizing the pre function, so we get 4 beat count off after I hit the record button. Perfect. At this point, you should have some general knowledge on how to navigate through your sessions in Reason 7 more efficiently, and also how to perform some basic recording techniques such as creating instruments and recording performances. Don't be afraid to get creative in this process. Sometimes the most obvious choice isn't the best creatively. So think outside the box, have fun, and enjoy yourself. See you next time.